Hey, welcome to the One Piece at a Time Distilling Institute with your host, the alchemist of Indiana's Black Forest, Alan Bishop. Hey, this channel is all about home distilling and legal distilling. If you've got questions, reach out to us in the comments below, social media, or via bishopshomegrown@gmail.com. And don't forget to check out thealchemistcabinet.com. Hey guys, back with another One Piece at a Time Distilling Institute video. Been busy today on this Saturday, this day of Chronos and Restriction, on the first day of the astrological month of Cancer, the sun sign of Cancer. I believe today is Taurus in the lunar sign. Been doing a lot of Greek mythology study in terms of the constellations and really gotten into that. So like, you know, Cancer is representative of the crab that attacked Hercules in the swamp as he was fighting off the Hydra. It grabbed his foot and Hercules killed the crab because his nephew Aeolus was in danger of dying at the heads of the Hydra, not the hands. And so very representative of exactly what Cancer is. So this water sign, you know, cold, wet, phlegmatic humor, related to the moon and emotions, but specifically to the pool of nature. That's the crab grabbing Hercules' foot and trying to drag him, but then also to the pool of family, right? It's barbecue season, it's 4th of July, it's all those things that we do in the northern hemisphere in this weather, right? The pool of family, the pool of nature, you know, Hercules having to get back, kill the crab, get back and help Aeolus so nothing happens to him. Cool stuff, but dorky shit, I know, but for those of you that are into that dorky stuff, please check out the 2025 Practical Distillers and Alchemist Almanac, available over at thealchemistcabinet.com in the warehouse. Yes, I know we're basically halfway through the year now, and so, you know, astrologically, you know, you're only going to get, you know, 6 months worth of value out of the book, but that's still a good 6 months worth of value. And the articles in there are evergreen. They're designed to be evergreen and to not age. In fact, at some point in time, maybe after we do 4 years worth of almanacs, we will issue an omnibus that has all those articles in it that we've done up to that point within the almanac so that people can have those. The other thing I always fail to mention about the almanacs, so the almanacs themselves will never, ever, 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 ever be reprinted. Once an almanac is done for the year, they're done. They're gone. They're, you know, get them while you can sort of thing. So throwing that out there. The new almanac is on its way. Damn near finished with it. I talked about that in the last video, so no need to get back into that. Also, if you're into the dorky stuff, listen, it would help me out tremendously, you guys, if any of you guys that are into the paranormal, the 4T, and the high strangeness. Two things. I'd love to hear your stories. I'd love to have you on my podcast. If you have ghosts, you have everything. If you just reach out to me, especially if it's distilling related in any way, shape, or form. Happy to have your stories. Doesn't have to be ghosts. It could be cryptids, UFOs, spirituality, any of the strange things in the world, the Fortean things, the unexplained, the preternatural, the paranormal. I'd love to have you on the show. Always looking for guests. Always, always, always looking for guests. Secondarily, man, it is a pain in the ass to create a good following for a podcast anymore, right? Everybody wants these video podcasts, which I don't understand. Why do you want to sit and watch the people talk on the podcast? Generally, there's not a whole lot to see unless there's a presentation or something. And for people like me, if I'm listening to a podcast, usually it's going to be because I'm riding my bike or I'm driving to work or I'm doing something. I can't watch it anyways. But because of the way that things have shifted, it's hard to get that consistent audience. For any of you who believe in the work that I do with If You Have Ghosts, You Have Everything, if you could start sharing the links from Spotify, doesn't even have to be new episodes. Actually, share them from Amazon Music. Spotify won't let you share it except individually within groups and pages, so you can't make a post and then share from that post, because I guess, I don't know what the deal there is, but Amazon Music, you can do that on Facebook. You could share If You Have Ghosts, old episodes, new episodes, in between episodes. Share it to your social media if you would. Also, if you're not following me on Facebook, if you could give me a follow, that helps me out tremendously too with everything I'm trying to do. I feel like I put a lot of work and a lot of effort into all the things I do, and I try to help people out, and it's very hard to get that consistent following. And I need that following because, you know, I'm one of the few creators out there that doesn't really ask you for money or ask you to support me in any way, shape, or form, other than in the products that I create for you, right? The videos are free, the podcasts are free, all that, none of that's behind a paywall. So long as I can help it, it never will ever be behind a paywall, because I hate that shit myself. But, you know, I need that following in order to sell almanacs and things of that nature, consulting and all that stuff. So if you could help me out there, guys, I'd really appreciate it. So anyways, let's get on with this damn question. I'm 5 minutes in and I ain't done nothing but ramble the whole time. So, Alan, I watched Jesse from John. I watched Jesse from Still It make a whiskey from a Belgian quad beer recipe. The wash used mostly grain, supplemented with Belgian candy sugar. Do you reckon making a rum off 100% Belgian candy sugar is worth a go? Given how many spirit styles you've done and pioneered, is there any suggestions you could make? It sounds like it would make an awesome spiced rum, dark fruit, caramel, chocolate from the candy. That's not technically spiced at all, as it happens in the still not afterwards. That's pretty appealing to me. Thanks a bunch. So I think that this is a great question, absolutely. And what I would say is, so I wouldn't say in distillation that there would be much difference between Belgian candy sugar and most sugar that you're going to use that's fairly refined, right? You can probably get the same thing out of fairly refined white sugar, especially if you were to invert it and do that sort of thing. I don't know if I would go through the expense of buying the Belgian candy sugar. Now, it's great for liqueurs. I'll tell you that right now. For sweetening liqueurs, it's damn phenomenal and fantastic in every way, shape, or form. But for distilling, I think if I were you, I'd probably focus just a little bit more on maybe a specialty sugar, right? Maybe maple syrup. Maybe make or maybe any of the various different shades of more primitive types of sugar, unprocessed sugars. I can't see a reason why I would ever switch out in fermentation from Belgian candy sugar or from white sugar to Belgian candy sugar, but that might just be me. Let's see. It also looks like there's another question here that I think you sent before, and I might have missed it. I think I did, so I'm going to try to answer this too. So, and I do apologize if I did miss it. So, hi, my name is John from Australia. I've learned most of what I know from you and Jesse from Still It, who lives across the ditch, what we call the Tasmanian Sea between Oz and New Zealand. I watch you a lot and truly think you're the most knowledgeable guy out there. Thanks, man. I appreciate that. Seems to me you take not knowing something as a challenge to work it out. I do try that for sure. This is very dedicated to my art, and a lot of that is because my art is part of my spirituality. So thanks a lot. It is great when you guys are prepared to share your hard-earned experience with the community to get us away from being a noob really quickly. I noted your call for questions on a recent YouTube Hot Talking Head video. I'd been sitting back absorbing, but took that as a call to action. When doing a spirit run, is there any merit in running heads through a column, then hearts through a pot, then back to a column for tails? I'm not aware this is done, or if it is, it's not common, but it seems logical to me. I've done it a couple times and got better yields, more compressed heads because I ran the column with slow offtake, better hearts, more reflux created, less smear of heads into hearts. And the first tails were awesome. For rum, the first tails were effectively a second hearts, a subtly flavored vodka that is actually my favorite vodka. I just dumped the second tails. Have you done this? Is there anything related to swapping still types mid-run you can share? It's going to seem weird for me if you're reading this in a future video. Regards. Well, I do apologize if it does seem weird. You know, I'm sitting here in a damn wife beater and a bandana looking the way I do, so it's all weird to me, buddy. Anyways, so in terms of doing that, yes, there is merit to that. Now, it's not typically done on just a normal doubling run, but I'll give you an example. It's very common with gin, and it is very common with absinthe. So, not so much on the head side of things, but definitely on the hearts going into tails. So, quite often, what I will do when I'm running an absinthe is I will just run off the little bit of heads that's there in pot still mode. Get rid of that and then run my hearts out, and then when I get to about 120 proof or so where I know I'm going to be dropping into my tails, I'll hit reflux. Not necessarily running an active column, but just the reflux up through the column, through the plating, without actually trying to hold any liquid level in the plating, just to get a little bit more hearts, a little bump there, right? Bump myself back up to 130 or so, and maybe I'll collect a little bit more volume off of that. And then I like to run those tails after that real hard, maybe even run the plates on the first part before you get to the blanquette. And the reason for that is those high tails in absinthe, they're going to go back into your next run neutral or near neutral spirit that you're going to use for your next basis for absinthe. And then I'll turn off once I see proof start to drop pretty dramatically. I'll turn off and catch my Blanquette. Now, I have done this same thing on doubling runs for like apple brandy and things of that nature, especially if I'm not chaptalizing the apple brandy, and so therefore there's not going to be a whole lot of yield. I very rarely ever do it on the heads, and the reason is I would rather excuse me, I would rather get the heads off and be done with them, have them out of the way and not have to worry about them. Just do that in pot still mode. That way I know I don't have all that stuff I don't want. Excuse me, got some pollen. All that stuff I don't want just setting in the column as the hearts come over and having pooling and all that stuff. But with the tails, again, when I'm getting close to cutting the tails, I might kick that column on for just a little bitty bit, bump it up, get a little higher proof off of it, and pull a little more yield off of it. Sometimes I will run the tails out like that too, and maybe make a separate cut. So something to consider. There's nothing wrong with it, right? There's a million roads to Rome, as they say. Man, got something in there. I do apologize, but I guess that's all I have to contribute before I die on camera, guys. Reach out to me, send me your questions, bishopshomegrown@gmail.com, YouTube comments below, or social media. Love y'all. Later.